Today, I want to show you a miniature by Bobby Fischer, in which he beats the reigning US champion, Reuben. Few months later, Bobby Fischer won the 1963-64 US Championship with the score of 11 out of 11, the only perfect score in the history of this tournament. Let's start with the game. 1e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5. Here, Bobby Fischer plays the move b4. The Evans Gambit. We saw already this opening last week with the game of Paul Morphy. Today we are going to see a different line. Bishop take b4. Black is accepting the gambit, and now white will attack the bishop with the move c3, winning some tempo and going to control the center with the move d4 really quickly. Bishop a5, d4. And here there are two possibilities, e take d4 and d6. In the game of last week, we saw that Ayers played the move d6. In this game, Reuben, the reigning US champion, played the move e take d4. Here white is not taking back on d4 with the knight, but is going with the move short castle. Now we have an important moment of this game. Mostly nowadays, the most played move in this position for black is the move knight e7. And after c take d4, black goes for d5. And we reach a position that is more or less equal. The chance to attack for white are not so big, and white needs to prove his compensation for being a pawn down. But Reuben here took all the pawn that Fischer was offering. He took on c3, and this is now considered a risky move. Queen b3. Queen and bishop are attacking the vulnerable point of all these e4, e5 structure, the point f7. Of course, here the move d5 is not playable, so black needs to protect with the queen. Here black played the move queen e7. Actually not the best move in this position, as queen f6 would have been better. The queen here is protecting both the f7 point but also the c3 pawn. By the way, queen e7 was played, and here, of course, very natural move, knight takes c3. Here already, black is doing really well. His pieces are out, the knight can jump to d5, the file are open, the bishop could go to a3 or eventually to g5. Really, white has a lot of options, and for black is not so easy to go on. For example, after bishop takes c3, queen takes c3, knight f6, bishop a3, d6, already black is in danger. For example, after e5, now white is doing extremely well here. Knights need to go somewhere, but soon the e file will be open and both queen and king are in this file. So this is already very dangerous for black. This can go really so fast. We are just at move 12. But let's see what Reuben played here. In this position, he didn't take on c3, but he went for knight f6. Now white has again many options, bishop g5, maybe bishop a3, knight d5. Fischer chose the move knight to d5, attacking the queen. Black has two possibilities here, queen d8 or knight take d5. Let's start with queen d8. This is not really a good choice, as after bishop g5, a natural but very strong move, the knight on f6 is pinned, and now white is threatening to play e5. This position looks really uncomfortable for black. That's why Reuben preferred to play here the move knight take d5. After e take d5, knight goes to e5. Here Fischer decides to change another couple of knights. Knight take e5, queen take e5. The queen is attacking the rook on a1, but that's not a big threat. In fact, Fischer played a very logical move, bishop to b2. The bishop is protecting the rook and also attacking the queen on e5. Let's stop for a moment in this position. Here, all the white pieces are extremely active. Look at those bishops, look at the rook ready to join the game. The king is in a safe place. Instead, on the other side, I cannot say the same about black's pieces. Let's have a look for a second at this position. Look at all the white pieces. They are extremely active. The two bishops are in extremely powerful diagonals. The queen is active. The rook are connected and ready to go in an open file, for example, the e file. The king is also in a safe place. Sadly, for black, I cannot say the same about his pieces. The only active piece is the bishop on a5 that is controlling the critical e1 square, so for a moment avoiding the threat of rook e1. But the queen is under attack, the pawn on g7 is vulnerable, the king is still on the center, and the two rooks plus the bishop on c8 are not playing at all. So here white is doing really well. Let's see where black can move his queen. An interesting idea could be to go with the queen to e4. It's true that g7 is hanging, but white needs to be careful. After bishop takes g7, rook g8, the bishop cannot just move somewhere because there is the threat of a mate on g2. That's why here white needs to play the move bishop d3, attacking the queen that now need to be moved somewhere. Let's say that black moves the queen to e7, now white can just bring the bishop back to c3, and now the threat of rook e1 is real. So we can say that also this position would be perfectly fine, actually really good for white. Let's go a few moves back. Here, Reuben didn't play queen e4, but went with the queen to g5. The queen is now protecting the pawn on g7. But also here, white position is really great. When this game was played, Fischer was 20 years old and he already broke a lot of records. At the age of 14, he became the youngest US chess champion, and at the age of 15, he became both the youngest grandmaster up to that time and the youngest candidate for the world championship. So he was already a young star, and in this game, at this moment, he found a very nice sequence of moves. I gave you a bit of time to find the move. I hope you thought about the move h4. Fischer sacrifices a pawn, but here he wants to take back the pawn on g7. The move queen g6, wanting to protect the pawn on g7, is not working, as there is a silent move, the move queen a3, that is both attacking the bishop on e5 and also threatening a checkmate with rook e1 followed by queen e7. So queen g6 is not a good move, that's why Reuben took on h4. But also here black position is terrible. After bishop takes g7 and rook g8, white can play an extremely strong move here. You can stop the video if you want to try find the move yourself. Rook f e1 check. Your Fischer doesn't care about giving up a rook, because he needs just one rook to give checkmate. Reuben doesn't take the rook and plays king g8. And now we are at the last move of the game. Queen g3. This move is amazing. And here Reuben resigns. As here, if queen take g3, bishop f6 would be checkmate, and there is no place for the queen to go to prevent the threat of bishop f6 or queen g5. For example, queen e7 loses, of course, at least a queen. That's why in this position, Reuben resigned. What a brilliant game! If you liked it, consider joining next week's video for another classic game. See you!